welcome to the next episode of Language Talks. We are talking today to Dhanesh Joshi from Pune, who likes to explore all facets of the language through his ventures. He has done a master's in German language and is the vice president of Forum Deutsch, Pune. Forum Deutsch is a cultural organization which promotes Indo-German culture through the means of performing arts. Hi,
Yeah.
Dhanesh.
Hi, Lalita. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, doing very well.
Good, good. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for such wonderful opportunity. And by this way, we can actually reach more people, and we can also understand how people in
Mhm.
language fields are doing, what exactly they are doing, and by this, we can have a great community of language learners and enthusiasts. So, thank you for such wonderful opportunity.
You're absolutely right, and you're welcome. So, you have recently opened a TELC center in Pune city, which will prove beneficial for those taking exams for the German language. So, please tell us more.
So basically, TELC means the European Language Certificate. And these certificates are recognized by the German embassy as equivalent to Goethe and ESD or OSD, and are eligible for applying for visa for various purposes. For example, in Germany, even migrants take TELC certificates at the end of an integration course, and they also
Okay.
serve proof of the required language skills for obtaining German citizenship. So this is TELC, and we have
Mhm.
started the first ever TELC exam center in Maharashtra. TELC center basically is run by Kommunikation Akun und Scholten, based in
Mhm.
Duisburg. It's a TELC center in the city of Duisburg, Germany, in the northern state of Nordrhein-Westfalen or
Okay.
Nordrhein-Westphalia, as we put it in English.
Right.
It's very old TELC institute over there, and
Mhm.
Genoa School of Languages and Pune Seva Sadan Society are its cooperation partners. So
Okay.
the
Mhm.
exams are being conducted digitally at Pune
Mhm.
Seva Sadan campus at the heart of the city at Lakshmi Road. It's very hard to believe that at the heart of the city at Lakshmi Road we have opened. How can one open such a center? Because there must be noises, and there must be traffic and each and everything. Plus there is parking space, availability of parking space is very less. But it's other way around, because we have
Mhm.
parking space for almost 100 two-wheelers.
Oh, okay.
We have a library, we have a cafe over there, and
Okay.
the rooms are very spacious. They are
Mhm.
equipped with LED televisions, with speakers, with everything, with boards, of course,
Mhm.
and we have very good teachers as well. So it is an
Mhm.
examination center, and along with
Mhm.
examination center, we also provide TELC courses over there. Basically,
Okay.
ESD, TELC,
Mhm.
and Goethe are
Mhm.
equivalent exams. People think,
Mhm.
if I have given earlier A1 Goethe or A1 ESD, then is it
Mhm.
possible to give A2 TELC or again appear for A1 TELC exam? Answer by TELC authorities is
Ah,
yes, because
yes. Okay.
there is no such prerequisite or there is no such rule.
Okay. So, taking you back in time, Ganesh, how did you decide to learn German?
Yeah, it's a nice question actually, because now I'm thinking about those days when I have decided to take up German, and
Mhm.
I didn't think at that point of time that German will become my bread and butter or my passion, so to say. Uh,
Right.
but eventually, yes, I mean, it became my passion, and now I'm
Mhm.
full-time German language teacher and trainer. Well, when
Great.
I was in 11th standard, I had
Mhm.
done my schooling from a Marathi medium school, and
Mhm.
typically when we were students in Marathi medium schools, we didn't have a chance to learn any foreign language. unlike
Right. Yeah.
unlike in many English medium schools at that point of time.
Correct.
I'm talking about
Hmm.
90s, typically 90s period.
Yes. Yes.
Uh, but in 11th or from 11th standard onwards, many
Mm-hmm.
colleges offered at that point of time German and French as
Mm-hmm.
one of the subjects. And then
Mm-hmm.
I was in Symbiosis College, and I had to choose
Mm-hmm.
between German, French, and Marathi. Obviously, as a as a Marathi medium student,
Mm-hmm.
I have studied Marathi or learned Marathi, and
Right.
so I thought that by seeing just the syllabus, that 11th standard again repeating the Marathi literature, what I've already studied or learned, it's not
Okay.
it's not challenging for me. And then
Okay.
I'm also a theater enthusiast.
Mm-hmm.
I love theater, and I
Mm-hmm.
frequently do a lot of German and Marathi theater as well as a hobby, of course.
Right.
I know that at that point of time, um,
Mm-hmm.
Bertolt Brecht of Germany, one of the finest dramatiker of all times, uh, his plays or his theory, no, his theory of
Mm-hmm.
alienation effect, has a lot of impact on Marathi theater since
Okay.
late 60s or late 70s theater. And
Mm-hmm.
I was very well fascinated by the concept of alienation. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
then that theory actually it was actually here, and I wanted to explore that just by learning German language. So that was
Wow. Okay. This is a different take on the learning German language.
yes, exactly.
That's
So
nice.
the
Yes.
other passion actually drove me towards another passion, you can say that. And of course,
Wonderful.
as a Pune citizen, we heard a lot about Max Muller and the so-called knowledge sharing between Max Muller and Lokmanya Tilak about
Right.
Vedas, about the old scriptures of Indian mythology, etc., etc. That was
Mm.
also one of the decisive points, because
Okay.
even Pune, and if we talk about freedom struggle, if we talk about India as a nation,
Mm.
Lokmanya Tilak and Max Muller and their knowledge sharing thing, or their letter
Mm.
sharing, had shaped up
Mm.
us as a nation. So
Right.
that was also one of the driving points, so to say, to choose German.
Right. So when did you decide to teach German? Because there must be many other options too, but you decided over teaching.
Right. Uh, Actually, when I was, I mean, previously, I mean, in 2010, 11, I was in
Mm.
Volkswagen. At that point
Okay.
of time, I was working as an admin assistant to a German manager, a
Mhm.
manager directly coming from Germany, a native German manager, and I was managing
Okay.
his work. I was doing
I,
translation,
mm.
interpretation,
I
uh,
see. Mhm.
and many more things. And one
Mm.
fine day, he called me inside his cabin, and
Mm.
he asked me to accompany a person from Germany,
Mhm.
who is going to come on the next day. He informed me,
Mm.
and
Mm.
that person was a trainer, and he introduced me a training in quality management, because
Okay.
uh, I was in the quality management department
Mm.
of Volkswagen.
Mm.
And
Mm.
that training has to be delivered in Marathi, English, and Hindi, because the training has
Oh.
to be given to not only to managers or white collared people, but also to
Mm.
blue, so to say, blue collared people, or the people who are engaged directly on the line, who are
Huh.
actually
Okay.
making the cars, and those are the
Right.
important people, and they need to
Mhm.
know how to produce quality vehicles, and
Mm.
what to do, what not to do. And that
Mm.
was very interesting, so to say, I mean, interesting experience. And that
Experience.
person
Huh.
actually told me that, hey, Marathi, while we were
Mm.
talking, the trainer,
Mm.
and so he told me, of course, we are talking in German. So he
Mm.
told me that, hey, or he triggered me, so to say. that, hey, you know Marathi very well, and you can actually have a dialogue with the workers over there because they know they are comfortable in Marathi and not in Hindi
Correct.
or even in English. So
Right.
why don't you actually adapt this particular course from
Mhm.
German directly into Marathi? And I said, why not?
Oh, okay.
I can give it a try.
Yeah, right.
So
Fantastic.
so I have adapted that particular program, the
Mhm.
quality assurance program, into Marathi
Mhm.
and Hindi by using
Okay.
different techniques. And
Hmm.
then he said, no, no, you then have to train the trainers as well, because you
Oh,
can't train
okay.
more than 500, 600 people, because you need
Correct.
to manage your boss's work as well as many other things. You need to
Correct.
translate and interpret, um, and this you can't manage with a great good team. So you need to build
Hmm.
now the teams of trainers, and by this
Okay.
way, I made a trainers team, and with
Hmm.
the help of HR and of course other departments. And then I
Hmm.
realized I'm very
Hmm.
happy to train the trainers, and I'm very happy
Oh.
during the training, rather than
Okay.
doing a desk job, means
Hmm.
translation or presentations in German, or
Okay.
translating the presentations from German to English and vice versa. So there I
Hmm.
realized that my passion is actually teaching, and not
Okay.
a desk job. I'm not a desk job person.
Oh, okay. That's great.
And one fine
Wonderful.
day, yeah, and one fine day
Hmm.
I was sitting at my home. I was not well
Hmm.
actually. So I took
Okay.
a day off from Volkswagen, and
Hmm.
suddenly I got a call from the Doon School, Dehradun,
Oh.
the
Hmm.
HR department, that they are looking for a German language teacher.
Hmm.
Are you interested to give it a try for the
Hmm.
interview? So I said, why not?
Okay. Yeah.
Dehradun, it's very, unique place. The Doon School, a big, huge brand, and very
Right.
accidentally, it's kind of an
Hmm.
accident that I just went there
Hmm.
very casually. I took the interview very casually. To be very frank
Hmm.
and honest with you, uh, I was prepared. Of course, I was prepared
Hmm.
with the questions and everything, but my approach was very simple, and I was
Hmm.
not expecting to get selected. But
Hmm.
again, it might be the destiny. I got selected, and then 4 years I worked
Great.
there as a teacher.
Then you were really good at the interview.
Yeah, must be.
Your experience of teaching at school, then you have experience of teaching at college and various institutional levels. So, how do you prepare yourself as a teacher to suit the demands of this varied audience?
uh, yes, yes. Well, I must say, a student is a student. uh,
Okay.
we need to stop. That is my experience from the Doon School.
Mhm.
We need to stop treating school going students as children or as babies,
Mhm.
and we should encourage them to read and understand the topics, but in a different manner.
Hmm.
Uh, what I understood
Okay.
is, if
Hmm.
we throw challenges to them, they would grab the
Hmm.
chance with both the hands.
Hmm.
And
Oh, okay.
I understood this very well in the Doon School, where,
Hmm.
for example, 13 and 14-year-old students did plays like Tughlaq and Holi. Can you imagine
Oh,
doing Tughlaq, a full-fledged play in Hindi and Urdu, a mixture of Hindi and Urdu?
my
Uh,
God.
it was fascinating. And there I have realized they are
Hmm.
not for babies. We should stop
Hmm.
treating them as babies. They are fine individuals.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
they understand the
Correct.
world exactly what we perceive, but we need to step up and let them explore and support for their own
Yes.
ways of understanding the world. And
Hmm.
that was the realization point, because typically
Hmm.
what happens over here, if we take the example of any theater scenario, particularly in Pune and Mumbai, there are
Okay.
plays meant for children, or we
Hmm.
label it as children's activity or children's theater.
Yes,
There in the Doon School, I have realized there is no such term as children's theater.
I see.
Theater is a
Hmm.
theater. It's an expression
Okay.
ultimately.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
even children can perform Tughlaq. Of course, I'm
Hmm.
not talking about 6-year-old or 5-year-old playing Tughlaq, and understanding the finer nuances of the role and, the political
Hmm.
and socio-political connections to it. But, as
Right.
an individual, everybody
Hmm.
has the right to explore uh, these quite complex themes
Correct.
through, through his or her own means.
Hmm.
And that
True.
is the trigger point. That is the trigger point.
Yeah.
Understand.
Right. To have a different viewpoint about your teaching methodology. I have seen
Right.
that. Yes. Please tell us about your institute, Edunova.
Yes. So as I told you earlier, I
Hmm.
was in Doon School after I left Volkswagen, and for 4 years I've taught there at IB level, International Baccalaureate,
Okay.
and I was also
Okay.
one of the theater facilitators over there. Um,
Hmm. Nice. Okay.
but after 4 years, I've realized that, um, I need to do on my own, something on my own.
Hmm.
Because, working in any institution, may it be
Hmm.
college, may it be university, may it be, school, it kind of restrict you as an individual uh, after a period of time. Uh,
Hmm.
and those are the gone days where, people used to work or would work for 30, 40 years in one institute, stick to that one institute, and then,
Right.
ultimately retire from that. Um,
Right.
it might work for them. I mean, I'm not
Hmm.
criticizing those people, but,
Hmm.
it is not challenging for me. After four
Hmm.
years in IB, I
Hmm.
thought, okay, I mean, there are no challenges right now for this job. And I need to explore more and I need to
Hmm.
understand more about German language, culture, history,
Hmm.
uh, through various means. Um,
Hmm.
and I need to take this experience of the Doon School, which was a very unique experience because it's all boys school and it's a
Right.
residential school.
Okay.
So
Hmm.
I need to take this experience along and
Hmm.
explore it and apply it
Hmm.
somewhere else. I'm
Okay.
kind of a person who want to apply, uh,
Hmm.
who want to apply who want a laboratory for himself
Okay.
always. So that's why
Okay.
in 2015, I
Huh.
and my wife Sneha, we
Okay.
formed a Genoa School of Languages, and
Okay.
since then we are delivering German language trainings from A1 to C1, and it's not
Okay.
only about German language trainings. We conduct a
Mhm.
lot of activities because we
Okay.
have
Mhm.
developed a stage in our backyard. It's an open air stage.
Oh. Hmm.
Um,
Interesting. Okay.
yeah, so we conduct a lot of activities over there related to German language and culture, related to
Hmm.
languages.
I
Uh,
see. Mhm.
we also stage 2 to 3 plays over there in English,
Okay.
in German. So,
Wow.
I don't want to have any just another training institute, but a place where
Mhm.
everyone should feel like a lifelong explorer. So
Okay.
that's
Nice. Mhm.
why that is the motto of our institute, and we are quite
Okay.
happy with the development so far.
Okay. That's nice. You have founded Forum Deutsch. So, which areas of the language or what does Forum Deutsch explore?
Yes, so Forum Deutsch was basically an idea of Professor Dilip Rajguru. Professor
Okay.
Dilip Rajguru is a very senior professor or German language teacher, trainer, and professor
Okay.
from Pune.
Mhm.
He's now
Right.
80 years old, but he's very enthusiastic
Mhm.
about always about new projects, new ideas.
Mhm.
And he taught us when we were doing bachelor's in SP College. And
Okay.
he always encouraged us to do, German plays, to explore German
Mhm.
beyond limits, learn
Mhm.
German through different activities, through the
Mhm.
medium of arts and culture and everything. And when we were in our second year bachelor's, we did a full length German play, Hercules und Stahl der Augias, Hercules and
Oh,
Augean Stables, written by Friedrich Dürrenmatt, a Swiss
oh,
German
yes.
author. And it was
Okay.
very difficult play for, we were just 18, 19-year-old kids, so to say,
Right.
because we didn't have much exposure like the generation we have right now. So he actually
Right.
guided us through that phase,
Mm.
and he
Mm.
encouraged us, and we actually did the entire 2.5 hours play when we
Oh,
were
okay.
just 19, 20-year-old students. And
That's quite that's quite a long play, 2.5 hours.
exactly,
So,
and with a break in between. And
mm,
today, when I think about it, it
mm,
seems totally impossible because doing such a play, executing it, and doing five
mm,
to six shows at that point of time without the help of Google, without the help of any material, so to say, it
mm,
was
mm,
crazy. And you
mm.
want to, I mean, you should have that craziness in the life to execute such
Right.
plans. So there were people who actually gave us 100 rupees, 50 rupees. Our parents supported us, and therefore,
Mm,
in a budget of 5 or 6,000 rupees, we
mm.
actually did display.
Mm.
um,
Okay.
and one of the German teachers, Rajiv Devasthadi,
Mm,
who is also a
mm,
senior German language teacher, he also
mm.
helped us because they
Okay.
did display when they were students, and
Mm,
he still had those sets with him. So he said,
mm.
"Yeah,
Okay.
it's actually lying in my backyard, so you can actually use them." The thought of exploring German through the medium of performing art, this
Mm,
idea actually,
mm,
the entire idea was in our
mm,
minds. And
mm,
once we are in corporates or we started working,
mm,
um, we always thought something is missing, something
mm,
crazier is missing. And then finally
mm.
in 2009, we did a German play again.
Okay.
That was an adaptation of the first ever Marathi short story by Vijay Tendulkar, Amchavar Kon Prem Kar.
Oh, oh,
Uh,
yes.
and that was translated by Dilip Rajguru sir. And
Mm.
then I have adapted it for the stage. And then we took
Okay.
the permission because Vijay Tendulkar was no more there. So we took the
Mm,
necessary permissions from his daughter, Tanuja Tendulkar.
mm.
Was very happy and she supported us. And
Okay.
then
Mm,
we realized now it's time to actually have one organization dedicated to explore
mm,
German language culture through the means
mm,
of, arts or through
mm.
the means of
Okay.
performing arts. And then we
Right.
founded it. Um,
Mm.
and since 2011, we also conduct one act play competitions. Mr. Dilip Rajguru, myself, our dear friends Nikhil Gadgil and Subodh Bapat, they were also
Mm.
instrumental
Okay.
in this this organization. Or
Mm.
and then we four have decided that we have
Mm.
done so many German plays when we were
Okay.
students, and we were benefited immensely out of that because we gained the exposure not only to German language
Mm.
and culture, but we have
Mm.
found our expression. We could organize people to do an activity, and by
Mm.
doing so, uh,
Mm.
their life is also changing. That we have
Mm.
observed. So it's a life changing
Okay.
activity because
Right.
we
Right.
need to apply ourselves. We need to
Mm.
check our own knowledge and our own information, and we need to
Okay.
update ourselves
Mm.
uh, every minute, every second, and we have to
Right.
take
Mm.
decisions instantly because it's a stage,
Mm.
and that's how we have actually founded with this idea. We have founded this organization.
What trends do you observe when you consult students for higher education in
We are
Germany?
also a higher education consultancy
Mhm.
for Germany. As a teacher or as a language professional, we understand that if you are migrating to Germany, whether as a teacher, whether as a student, whether as a professional, anyone, you need to have the knowledge of at least B1. That is the third level of German.
Correct.
And the issue is many students fail to understand this. Either they don't do such courses because their university course is in English, or they do it quite fast, which is not effective, because ultimately when they land in Germany, after a certain period of time, when they appear for interview, even for an internship, they won't clear that interview. They fail to clear that interview because that particular interview happens in German. Fast paced training or fast track training is actually the trend, but it's actually a negative trend. As language professionals, we know that one needs to
Right.
have 100 to 120 clock hours of training at each level. If we club that to 100 hours of teaching for from A1 to B1, then it's actually useless, and it is hampering a lot of Indian students in Germany. I know a lot of Indian students who are struggling in Germany because of lack of language skills. Slowly and
Yeah.
steadily, even parents are realizing that we must not do this. We must adhere to CEFR principles. One more trend actually I want to talk about. People always ask me, I want to go to a private university, or I want, there are people who want to go only to public university, and they
Okay.
don't understand that, in Germany, uh, one should, one can't just choose a course or a university if one has the money.
Okay.
It's nothing to do with what kind of paying capacity you have. It's about
Okay.
what kind of profile you have. You need to understand the credit system. For example, every
Okay.
German university, may it be public, may it be private, most of them, they will actually see the profile of each applicant, and they will
I see.
first understand if he or she has the proper credits which can suit uh, the course in the future when they step in Germany.
Oh,
They
okay.
come to Germany.
Right.
For example, if you are doing, engineering, and if you want to apply for a course which is thoroughly a management course, then
Okay.
you don't have that kind of credits over there to suit those required skill sets. And
Right.
then even if a student goes there, and even if it's successful in getting the admission for such course, he or she will face a lot of hurdles because the terminology, the courses in that particular master's course, the sub courses, I mean, those are very different from the courses which one have studied over here. There is nothing called as, a course in public or a course in private university.
Right.
That's the question. Whether that particular course is applicable for me, whether it suits my profile, one needs to understand this.
Now I will switch to your hobby, theater.
Okay.
So I would like to ask about the current play that you all are performing. It is in German. German, it is written by the Swiss playwright Max Frisch,
Yes.
Biedermann und die Brandstifter, and you are
Yes.
performing it in Marathi. So please tell us about it.
We as a team are very excited to perform, or are always excited to perform this play. The play is about guilt faced by a rich or a higher middle class person, and how that particular guilt leads to destruction of his own surroundings, own house as
Oh, okay.
um you know so so that is the play about, and it's written by the Swiss playwright Max Frisch, Biedermann und die Brandstifter. and we haven't adapted it, but we have used everyday Marathi language. So it's not flowery
Okay.
Marathi language or not very heavy
Mhm.
Marathi words. And the
Mhm.
translation is done by Mrunmay Shivapurkar, and
Okay.
it was actually done as a part of her studies when she was studying German, when she was doing
Mhm.
masters in German.
Okay.
Basically, it's a radio play written in
Mhm.
1948. Um,
Mhm.
Obviously, it was later adapted for television and it was
Mhm.
staged as a play in 1958.
Mhm.
Um,
Oh, okay.
and it is often viewed as an allegory of dictatorship, illustrating how
Mhm.
ordinary citizens uh, unwittingly become accomplices to their own downfall. Uh,
Mhm.
because the German word Bieder means conventional, conservative, suitable,
Mhm.
or authentic or straightforward. Um,
Ah.
and the play is a dark comedy. You know,
Mhm.
uh, the protagonist of the play, Biederman, he's a
Mhm.
businessman. He
Okay.
encounters two strangers who
Mhm.
eventually turn out to be arsonists.
Mhm.
And despite recognizing the danger, he and
Mhm.
his wife, the Biederman and his wife,
Mhm. Mhm.
invite them into their home and even store drums of petrol in their attic.
Ah.
By this, they refuse to acknowledge the threat, because Biederman is also facing the guilt. Uh, I'm not going to talk about that guilt because one needs to see the play and understand that.
It will
But
be a spoiler,
yeah, it
right?
could be a spoiler, exactly. But
Mhm.
because of this, it leads to their tragic fate, making
Mhm.
them, the Biederman family, the victims of their own naivety.
Mhm.
So,
Okay.
so that is the gist of the play, so to say. Marathi translation is done by, as I told you earlier, by Mrunmay Shivapurkar and
Mhm.
directed by Shekhar Naik, who is also a
Okay.
painter by profession. And
Mhm.
it's a joint production by Forum Deutsch and Shekhar Naik Productions.
Okay. Yeah, that's great. And I wish you all the best for all your future shows.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Great. You have toured Germany to perform plays. So, how was the experience?
First, we have toured Germany to perform a German play in 2006. We did a play called Kafkaesque.
Mm.
It's an adaptation of short stories of Kafka for theater.
Mhm.
And it
Okay.
was directed by a professor called as Manjiri Paranspe.
Okay.
She's now a retired professor, but she worked in the then Pune University department for more than 30 years. And we toured in 2006. And that was very fascinating because that was also my first
Mhm.
experience of Germany as a student.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
Germans were very happy to see Kafka on stage by students in German.
Mhm. Oh, yes.
Because nobody at that point of time has thought of performing Kafka, 20,
Mhm.
22-year-old students to perform Kafka in Germany. And it
Yeah.
was very difficult even for the German students who are native German
Mhm.
students. Um,
Oh, yes.
and even they were saying that, it seems very impossible to us as well.
Mhm.
So that was our
Mhm.
first experience of German stage, and we had
Oh,
quite a interesting experiences over there. Uh,
okay.
we performed at Berlin, we performed in Munich, and
Oh.
also we toured Dresden. And in
Mhm.
every city, we had different experiences with different people. On 12, again,
Mhm.
we have toured Germany to perform this short story adapted into
Okay.
theatrical play by Vijay
Mhm.
Tendulkar. And
Okay.
there, Germany in 2006 and Germany in 2012, both were different entities. Uh,
Oh, okay.
because in 2012,
Mhm.
the central theme of this play is arranged marriage. And
Okay.
we were very unsure about how German people would perceive that theme because
Mhm.
arranged marriage is it's very alien to them. No, there is no thing
Right.
called as arranged marriage in any European country. Forget about only in Germany. So we were very skeptical about that. Uh, but it was still fresh theme for immigrants in Germany.
Okay.
Because he performed in three schools. The students over there, they did a lot of presentations on uh, on the marriage systems in India, on how marriages are being done, the ceremonies and etc. in India, and they were fully prepared before they experienced properly our performance. German citizens or German people have had a lot of questions on arranged marriage as well. But what I found very fascinating, and that was a learning for me personally, that Germans haven't made any jokes on the system, on the arranged marriage
Okay.
system, but rather they were very critical and wanted to know aspects behind it. So, generally, what happens is we crack jokes. We are very as an audience. I mean, sometimes we crack jokes. Sometimes we are very very
Judgmental.
obvious, judgmental. Yes, but Germans were not at all judgmental.
I
They
see.
wanted
Okay.
to know more. They were inquisitive. That was a learning point for me because they were not judgmental and they wanted to know more and more and more. So very fascinating experience we had in both the
Right.
tours in 2006
Okay.
as well as in
Hmm.
2012.
You are a poem enthusiast also. So you are instrumental in promoting Marathi poetry through Ananvay. So can you tell us about this organization?
Ananvay is an organization
Mhm.
dedicated to promote Marathi poetry. It was
I
founded by
see.
Dr. Madhavi Vaidya, who is
Mhm.
an author and who was also a Marathi professor in Ferguson
Mhm.
College and in many colleges across Pune.
Okay.
And Rahul Ghorpade. Rahul Ghorpade is a musician, and
Mhm.
both of them they have formed Ananvay, and I was part of
Okay.
it since last almost 25 years. So
Mhm.
so actually, it's the only organization in entire India who is
Mhm.
promoting poetry through the means of
Okay.
performing arts, uh,
Okay.
and particularly Marathi poetry.
Okay. Mhm.
Poetry is something very abstract, you know. It
Mhm.
has a, but though it is very abstract, it has a form, but at the same
Mhm.
time, it shapes you as an individual. For understanding poems or reciting them has
Mhm.
actually very didactical impact. Um,
Okay.
Very indirect but very deep
Mhm.
by reciting such poems, by doing such
Mhm.
programs.
Mhm.
It made me as an individual, I think, a thinker. Without poems, I would have been a person who was only intuitive, who didn't have any shape
Mhm.
uh,
Mhm.
as a personality, I'm saying, and
Yeah, right.
couldn't have done a lot of things which I am currently doing actually in the field of German
Correct.
language. So it's actually
Right.
interconnected.
Okay.
If you are learning German, if your focus
Mhm.
is Germany, then don't
Mhm.
treat German or Germany as one of the points in your life.
Right.
Your life should become German or Germany. Whatever
Correct.
you are doing, whether it's poetry,
Mhm.
whether it's theater, whether it's painting or anything, any hobbies or
Mhm.
any other activity, you can
Mhm.
link it to German and Germany.
Would you like to recite any of your favorite poets' poem?
This is one
Yeah.
poem by Kusumaraj or
Okay.
Viva Shirvadkar. He has actually written a very witty poem
Mhm.
uh, on a prime minister's visit to a small place. And what
Okay.
happens when he visits a small village or a small
Mhm.
place? Um,
Mhm.
that the poem is about that, about his visit to a village.
Okay.
बया बया माझ्या गावी आज परधान आला. परधान कशी म्हणू राजा तोची रयतेला. जंगलाला पाय फुटे वाडा पाडा घेई धाव. घारी परी इमानते घेई तिठ्यावर ठाव. सरपंच वराडाला, म्हणा जिंदाबाद म्हणा, दयेवारी नभातून आला मुलखाचा राणा. शिपायांच्या हाती दंडे, पुढाऱ्यांच्या हाती हार, रांगड्यांच्या देठी मंदी व्हत इमानाचं दार. दारात आला राजा, चालू लागे झरा झरा, बया बया रूपतेच जसं शुकराचा तारा. राजा चाले झपा झपा, राजबंसी हौसावानी, संगे केवड्याचं पान, तशी गोरी गोरी राणी. थवा जाई वस्तीकडं, थवा जाई वस्तीकडं, मोर ढवळ टोपी वाल, माग हुंदडती पोर, थोर बाप चिंध्यातलं. कुठं वहळती नाले, कुठे चिखलाचा राडा, महाराजा हिमतीचा उड्या मारी ताड ताडा. वाटेवरी रेटा रेट गर्दी झाली वेडी पिशी, राजा निहाळत गाव काही बोले पुढाऱ्यांची. कुठं खाचरात घुसे, पुसे पीक कसं काय, धनी फिरवितो डोळे, खाली लटलटे पाय. कुठं कडेवरी पोर, त्याचा गाल कुरवाळी, पुसे बेटा नाव काय, बेटा फोडे डर काळी. कुठं खोपट्यात शिरे, म्हणे म्हातारीला आत, कैसा चले, म्हातारीचे गेले घशामंदी दात. हवा आला पारावर, राजा बोले रयतेशी, त्याची दिल्लीवाली बोली रांगड्यांना कळे कैशी. अशा डौल डांगोऱ्यात त्याची झाली गाव फेरी, असा दादला दे रे देवा, मनी म्हणत यात पोरी. राजा आला, राजा गेला, राजा आला, राजा गेला, पुन्हा इमान ते उडे, समदे लोक खोळावून बघत्यात ढगाकडे. गाव झाला सुना सुना, रस्ता रिता भूतापरी, लाल निळ्या पताकांचा केर उडे वाऱ्यावरी. राजासाठी घरोघर आज पीठ मिठ येई, राजासाठी घरोघर आज पीठ मिठ येई. 8 दिस रजा होती, आता पेटा चूलबाई, आता पेटा चूलबाई.
Fantastic.
So this is the poem. It's not a very well-known poem, but it's
Yeah.
very interesting take on a visit of PM or maybe a king, or any VIP
Yeah.
person, so to say.
Well, thank you for reciting it.
Yes, my pleasure.
What is that one thing you would like to change in this language field?
Uh, changing the current exam structure.
Okay.
Because I think mark-based exams, they create
Mhm.
rifts amongst learners.
Mhm.
Because markings, it should be stopped. That's what I think. And the
Okay.
exam should be evaluated based on the expression and content rather than the correct answer. Because while learning language, there
Okay.
is no correct answer.
Mhm.
There is
Mhm.
nothing correct.
Mhm.
Uh,
Right.
there must be an expression. There can be
Mhm.
counter views as well. So,
Mhm. Mhm.
on based of that, one needs to be
Mhm.
evaluated and not on the based of what is correct and what is wrong.
Correct.
That's one thing I really want to change. And
Mhm.
one more thing, um,
Mhm.
all our courses,
Mhm.
especially at bachelor's level and master's level, uh,
Okay.
they are not market linked courses. Many students face disappointment
Mhm.
when they are finished with their bachelor's or master's.
Mhm.
Maybe after the new education policy, uh,
Right.
it
Mhm.
will start happening soon. But
Right.
there are many challenges as well
Mhm.
as well in the NEP system, because we are a
Right.
very huge country. It's not easy to
Mhm.
implement any policy, um,
Correct.
because of a lot of other issues as well. But
Mhm. Mhm.
uh, apart from that, we should
Mhm.
actually have that in our system. For example,
Okay.
many colleges have now started
Mhm.
internships for even
Mhm.
for German language students, and that I have
Okay.
very positive step. I find this
Mhm.
a very positive step, because by this way they will
Mhm.
understand, for example, how Edunova functions, how my institute
Correct.
functions, what are my
Mhm.
challenges as a business person and
Mhm.
as a German language teacher from both the point of
Yes.
views. Uh,
Correct.
but this should happen quite frequently.
Hmm.
And I really want to make each and every course a market
Hmm.
oriented. Market oriented means
Okay.
not suitable for market, but suitable to develop yourself for the market, to
Right.
incorporate your passion and your ideas, and to convince the entire market like that, hey, this is my trend.
Hmm.
This
Yeah.
is what I want to sell it to you. This I
Correct.
really want to make changes. I don't know how, but I think I'll soon find an answer to it.
I'm sure. Yes. In addition to German, which other languages interest you?
I'm very much fascinated by Urdu, but I haven't
Hmm.
learned it yet. Um,
Okay.
but I like to listen to Urdu shairi,
Hmm.
and I quite enjoy Urdu, and I think
Okay.
the structure of Urdu and the structure of German language
Hmm.
while speaking is very similar,
I
because
see. Okay.
a lot of Urdu shairis, they don't stop.
Hmm.
I mean, after one line, they don't
Oh,
stop. There is a
okay.
sense of continuation in Urdu.
Oh, that way. Okay.
And
Hmm.
there is also a sense of continuation in every German sentence.
Right.
So that fascinates me as a language
Yes.
enthusiast. I see a lot of
Very nice.
similarities over
Hmm.
there. And of
Okay.
course, also French, no?
Oh, okay.
Because it's very
Hmm.
challenging, especially after learning
Hmm.
German. Because German is a phonetic
Yes.
language,
Yes.
like Marathi, wherein French is not at all.
Hmm.
It sounds
Hmm.
very sweet, but yet it's very prolific.
Yes.
It's
Correct.
on one hand, it's soothing, but it also
Hmm.
revolutionary in its application. Because French
Hmm.
Revolution, without French language, there is not French Revolution, for example.
Right. Plan to translate poetry in all these languages.
Yes, I've done a few
Hmm.
translations of a few
Hmm.
German poems into Marathi.
I
Uh,
see. Huh.
but it's very challenging. Challenging not in the sense of
Hmm.
ability, but poem,
Hmm.
as I told you earlier,
Hmm.
it's very subjective. Um,
Hmm.
it doesn't have any shape, but yet it is the voice of one particular period.
Correct.
For example, a poem written by Heinrich Heine in 20s, 30s,
Hmm.
or early
Hmm.
20th century has its own
Hmm.
meaning. It is
Hmm.
individual, yet it is very political, yet it is very socio-political.
Huh.
It has a lot of
Correct.
connotations. So translate those connotations into your own
Hmm.
language and vice versa. Because,
Hmm.
for example, the poem which I have just recited,
Yeah.
a poem about a visit of a VIP
Hmm.
in a typical Marathi or Maharashtra village. How can I
Hmm.
translate it for Germans? Because in Germany, this culture doesn't exist.
Correct.
I was in Germany in 2017 when there were
Okay.
general elections. And I
Hmm.
have seen only one big poster in the entire city of Duisburg, where I was
Oh.
staying for 1 month. Translating the thought uh,
Hmm.
is very challenging in this
That.
sense. So let's see. I mean, if in future, if I like something and if uh, attracts me more, I might be able to do some translations
Yeah, sure. This was a great discussion, Dhanesh.
for me as well.
Thank you. So I wish
Pleasure.
you all the best for your Telk Center and also for your theater and poem recitations for everything.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thank you for this
Thank
opportunity.
you. You're
Yes.
welcome. Okay. Bye
Okay.
bye. Have a good
Bye
day.
bye. Same to you. Bye bye.
Thank you, everyone, for joining me in conversation with Dhanesh. I hope you enjoyed the conversation. See you in the next episode with a new guest to learn about his or her passion for languages. Till then, keep watching Language Talks. Have a nice day. Bye bye.